Matthew Vaughn decided not to direct X-Men Days of Future Past to do this. Huh. Well, it was great having Bryan Singer back for X-Men Days of Future Past, and I think he made a good job. I think he made a good choice because he didn't disappoint here. Kingsman: The Secret Service is an adaptation of the book The Secret Service of the comic book The Secret Service, created by Dave Gibbons and Mark Miller. Script written by Jane Goldman, Matthew Vaughn, and directed by Matthew Vaughn. Starring Colin Firth, Samuel Jackson, Mark Strong, Taron Egerton, Michael Caine. Also, you even have Mark Hamill for a small bit. That's interesting. Sophie Cookson. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Also, you have Sophia Boutella. That's all I'm going to put down because who else do I care about? Now, this movie is about this character named Eggsy, who's a bit of a troubled teen. Like he's just very reckless, and he doesn't exactly have a great lifestyle, great life. One day while going out crazy joyriding, he gets arrested. He's bailed out of jail by this man played by Colin Firth, who is a leader of. He's like a guy he's a person who works for the Kings. Okay, hold on. This guy works, Colin Firth is a Kingsman agent. He works with people called the Secret Service, and he recruits Eggsy into joining and training to be a Kingsman agent to help take down this man named Valentine, played by Samuel Jackson. Motherfucker Jackson. Ha ha! With a lisp. I think I still have a bit of a lisp with this retainer on, but I think I'm getting more used to it. And as a result, they have to do the same thing. Stop him from taking over the world. Actually, interesting way how he takes over the world. It's something interesting. It involves like a phone and a signal and lots of fighting and killing. Yeah. And it's rated R. Now, when this movie was coming out, there were some issues behind the release schedule of this movie. I don't know if there was any issues behind production, though. I heard one time that there was a very... there's some people, there was one day on set where they were trying to get, this, underwater scene done involving, a way to escape underwater, room filling with water, they have to escape from it. It was a bad first day because there was a technical malfunction, but nothing else. Now, this movie was coming out, originally was supposed to be released in November 14th, 2014, delayed to March 6th, moved up to the 24th of October, 2014, then pushed back to 13th of February, 2015. Now, this was coming out the same week as 50 Shades of Grey. You know which one had made the most money, but in my opinion, this one was more deserving of it, even though I did not see 50 Shades of Grey, because why the hell would I? We own the Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. My God. But, yeah. Now, even though this movie was coming out during a time where movies just aren't that good, or there's a few decent movies in February, this actually was one of the better films I've seen this year. This was actually really good. I had so much fun with it. And, of course, Matthew Vaughn just manages to do so much great. He does another good film. Though, in my opinion, it's not the greatest films from him, such as Kick-Ass and X-Men First Class. For both of them. 5 out of 5 for both. But it's still a lot of fun. Now, here's the thing about this movie. The nice thing about Matthew Vaughn when it comes to action. When it comes to action, he does it in a way that's very almost like a combination of handheld and shaky cam. He kind of moves in a shaky way, and it feels like it's handheld. But the way it's done in a stylistic way. You could still tell what's going on. You can follow the action clearly, and it's not a big deal. If some of you have issues with focus, you may be a bit lost. But for me, I was fine with it. The action is a lot of fun. There's so many cool action scenes. There's just one awesome scene in a church that I think was done in one take, done in one continuous shot. That is freaking awesome. And Colin Firth did most of his own stunts, according to a second unit director and stunt coordinator or something like that. He did about 80% of his own stunts. And how old is that guy? Let's see. I gotta look. The guy is 54, and he did just awesome stunt work. Well, for the most part. But it's just awesome, you know? Like, I mean, the stunt work is just great, you know? I'm not making this clear to you guys, am I? It's just a lot of fun to watch the action. It was thrilling, it was so much fun. Why I say suspenseful? Not really, but sometimes it may shock you, like involving the R rating. I mean, probably not if you haven't seen Kick-Ass, you'd probably be a little surprised by the amount of violence in this movie. But for me, there were some surprises, but for the most part, it wasn't too. I can almost expect that because of how you know Edgerton, how Matthew Vaughn is with action. Huh. Wow, this guy's awesome. Also, there's a lot of, the action's just a lot of fun. What else do I have to say? It's very stylish. I like the use of color. Sometimes some colors just pop out like that. There's like some colors that pop out are really like yellow. It's just really kind of cool. Also, it's very flashy times. It does feel, there's sometimes even some saturation in the colors. In the frames. It's some frames. It's actually pretty cool. See, it's done in a way that almost feels like a Michael Bay movie, but stylistic and actually really interesting to look at, and actually pretty good to, and actually the action goes on without dragging on too long. Also has a cool soundtrack. I mean, the church scene came, the soundtrack playing, perfect. It's just so much fun. I mean, my God. The action scenes just have so much energy and such great flow to them. The entire movie does for the most part. There are some times where it slows down a bit, but still keeps a good amount of energy going in terms of the pacing. It can be, and also one thing I like is the comedy. This movie is actually pretty freaking funny. I actually laughed a lot. Oh man, so much fun to watch this stuff. Seriously, I mean, it's actually pretty funny. Sometimes there's a lot of humor involved from some vulgarity, and even sometimes from the villain himself. Like Samuel L. Jackson's villain, he does not like blood. He just, it just makes him nauseous. It's always, and you can get a lot of good humor out of that. Such like whenever he thinks he doesn't want to look at somebody, even if he ever shoots him or something like that. He's more kind of a wuss, but that's what kind of adds something to it. He actually has his own unique he's a villain with his own unique personality. He's not just a cliche kind of villain, or one that just has the same personality reused over and over again without adding anything really fresh or anything new to it. He actually has a bit of a personality, and it's just very fun to see him just act like a bit of an imbecile. There's also one scene involving fast food that actually was pretty freaking funny. There's also one scene near the end of the movie that actually was probably the most surprising. It was really fun. There's also a post-credit scene that was actually pretty cool. I really want to see a sequel. I'd like to see Matthew Vaughn direct it. I can't really see anybody else directing other than Vaughn because he understands, because he can make the film basically his own. He puts his own personal stamp on his films while still giving fans of the comic book a good amount of fan service. Doing it justice. I don't know. I'm not a comic reader, so that was never the thing that came to mind. And also, it's really an adaptation. It's not a complete take on stuff. It's not being completely faithful. He made to take some liberties for a reason. This one has some pretty good action, some pretty good camera work. Even with it's a lot shakier and it feels a bit handheld, it works though because there's a bit of style to it. Yeah, and you can also follow the action. It's not awful. The thing is like The World's End. The World's End had a lot of good had a lot of good camera work, but also there's even some bit of quick cutting. Especially in Hot Fuzz. It's done in a stylistic way. The World's End also did the same thing too. See, Edgar Wright added style to it. You can still follow the action, and the shots are not too short, they're not too long. They're good amounts that you can still you can tell the action. You can see the action taking place and seeing what you're supposed to see, making for some fun action scenes. Edited very well, actually. You have to give credit to some of these editors for these quick cuts and managing how to keep track of the action without losing the audience's attention. Seriously, I have to give him major credit for that. This one does it very well. I just have this movie's just fun, It's actually very violent. And there's some scenes involving head explosions. Pretty freaking cool. I mean, what else do I have to say? There's some fun characters too. I liked Aaron Edgerton's as Eggsy. Pretty good breakout role for him. He just adds a lot of charisma, and you can see he's a bit of a troublemaking teen. He just adds a lot of fun to it. Like I said, there's nothing else for me to say other than the fact that he makes a good breakout role, and he's a lot of fun. I mean, Colin Firth's also pretty cool. I mean, he actually is pretty good in the action scenes whenever he's in there, not a stuntman, which is, I guess, for the most part. I also like his character. I do like, he adds seriousness to it, but also he adds some comedy to it. Eggsy's a lot more of a bit more, he's a bit like a, Colin Firth's a lot more subtle in terms of comedy. Eggsy's a bit more absurd, or more ridiculous, or a bit more full of energy and a bit ridiculous. It's just like with it's really like more comedy with a lot more energy and charisma or something like that. He just has more activity in his comedy based whenever it comes to comedy for him, for his character in the movie. Works well. It's just a lot, and yeah. Are there any issues? And also I do like a Valentine's assistant with the blades for feet. Oh man, that was cool. Oh man, that was so fun. Also, I have to admit, there are some surprising twists and turns, and it feels like a Bond movie if it was rated R, and if it was the campy ones. That's really it, because I mean, this one is very lighthearted and doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's a good thing because the film knows what it is. There are times where you think it's going a little serious, and it doesn't, and of course, that's not a big problem. It's not really the thing that hurts the film, it really hurts the tone. It's just something you kind of almost expect. Some comedies like to get serious. The drama's not too bad, and I do have to say there are some times where you can get some pretty freaking great laughs. Laugh out loud moments? I guess you can find some, especially when it comes to Samuel L. Jackson. What else do I have to say? I'll tell you one thing. I remember, just following the trailer, the third theatrical trailer, I could not stop watching that. I watched it over and over and over again. Because it's just so much fun. It basically has the feeling, it just has a lot of energy to it. I'll tell you one thing. Whenever a chaos starts hitting in the movie, like some of these big set pieces, they are just a lot of fun to watch. I have to say, there's a lot of activity going on, yet the cameraman and the crew, they keep track of it very well. They follow the action very well, and they get tons of great highlights from those scenes. Oh man, so damn violent, so damn fun. I mean, there's nothing else for me to say other than the fact that the movie is just a lot of fun. Criticisms? Well, one, you could say it feels a bit uneven at times, especially with the switches in tone and being serious at times. For me, it wasn't a big deal. I kind of got over that quickly. Also, the training montages are pretty cool. I'm going back to some positives. There are some fun training montages. I do like some of them. They're a lot of fun. And there's even almost a sense of tension in a way in some scenes. But I have to say, not bad. So actually, there's a sense of suspense and tension in a way. I actually have to give credit to that. And there are even some plot points that they go back to and clarify on. And that actually really surprised me. Even surprised my friend Diego, who I saw it with. Seriously, this is a movie that's made for action junkies. And I don't know how what the comic book in terms of structure is, but this one's just a lot of fun. I have to say, this is a film that had so many issues getting released, yet it's a good film. It's one of those few good films that's been delayed for a while. Yeah, it's good. Mark Hamill's also good for a small bout, but he's nothing memorable. He's just, oh, he's there. I mean, there's just some very fun characters and great action scenes. It's just so much fun. Let's get back to the criticisms. There are times where you feel like it can be a bit too much in terms of violence. Some CGI at times. There are some special effects. Some of them are not too convincing. Some of them I think are fine. They're nothing too convincing, but it is a criticism. It wasn't anything that was a big problem for me. It's just something I criticized for. There is a cool head explosion scene, and there's a couple of them. There's one involving a lot of head explosions. I'm not going to spoil it. It's so freaking funny. Also, it's just awesome. In terms of the characters, you don't know too much about Valentine, his assistant. Is that a bad thing? I mean, they were still very fun, interesting characters, and I didn't have too much of a problem with that, but I would have liked a bit more to learn about them. Also, I kind of wanted to learn. I mean, that was more of a minor complaint. It's not really a big problem for me because, I mean, They're fun characters, and really, I just had fun with the movie. The movie never takes itself seriously. There are times where it kind of wants to be a little serious and even sometimes intense, but the thing is, it still knows what it is. It's a fun movie that you'd probably get more like in the summer season, and more of the summer blockbuster season, but you get it early. And to be honest, it's a thank God we did, because this really was one of the standouts of the otherwise mediocre dump month, like the dump months basically. It's one of the standouts of February and one of the standouts of the winter season for 2015. I really have nothing else to say other than the fact that there's only a few problems I have with it. Also, Sophia Cookhouse, I believe, who is like a kind of basically like almost like a love interest for Eggsy. Well, maybe not, but she's like a female character that kind of helps fight alongside Eggsy near the end. She was fun. Mark Strong was also cool. I also liked him whenever, especially near the end. So these characters really did shine at the end, and I kind of enjoyed that because you got to see a lot more of a fun aspect of the characters, and they also got to do more things. There might be some scenes that shock you, but one thing I like about it, this movie was a lot of fun, and it was just really good. While it isn't perfect and it's not my favorite Matthew Vaughn movie, I still had a lot of fun with it, and I really want to see a sequel because you know why? This is a lot of fun. I mean, the fact that it's actually his most successful film with over $406 million worldwide really got me there. Wow. I guess maybe taking a risk is actually a good thing. Huh. It's kind of weird, because usually Hollywood, they don't take a lot of risks, but this one was a pretty profitable risk. And hey, 20th Century Fox, they really put a lot of trust in Matthew Vaughn and Bryan Singer. But why? Why not Josh Trank for Fantastic Four? I mean, I've heard so much hate about that. How come he didn't get any respect for that? Why didn't he get any sort of why didn't they trust him? I don't know. But anyways, guys, Kingsman Secret Service gets a 4.5 out of 5. It's a lot of fun, the movie. It's a lot of fun. It's already out, so you can rent it. You can buy it. Blu-ray, DVD. Digital. It is a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend it, especially if you are a James Bond fan. Maybe if you want to see a more R-rated, more adult take on the character. Well, a way it's kind of like an inspiration of the character. But you can see anything. I mean, it's hard to not say. Saying that, it's impossible to say that it doesn't take inspiration from James Bond. Seriously, try and think that. Try and think of a way to say it. Try and think of a way to promote or sell this movie without saying James Bond in the title or comparing it to James Bond. Think about it. Anyways, guys, comment below. What did you think of Kingsman Secret Service? Did you like it? Did you not? What is your favorite Matthew Vaughn movie? Mine is probably Kick-Ass. Who knows? It may just be X-Men First Class. Do you want to see a sequel? Because I do. Comment below and subscribe to my channel for more videos.